Morning guys, it's Chris here from Serene Education with the 4 majors, and this is an update for the 14th of September 2011. Hi guys, start with the Euro against US dollar on a daily time frame, and using our CTC strategy template. Okay, so we've seen a lot of downside movement on the pair. Extension wise, if you look at it, you'll notice that we have fully extended to 100% of the initial move. So this move over here, we had a slight pullback, and this second extension is 100% of the initial bearish side down that we've seen, and now we've seen a pullback. Yesterday's trading range quite a long one, however indecisive. So we like to see a decision candle today, whether it's further upside or a bearish engulfing closing lower than 100, which would confirm further downside movement, which would take us to the next protocol, the 161.8, and ultimately 261.8 down the bottom. So as it stands now, what we've seen is a breach of 1400 long term in his recent weeks, continue to fall, and then along the way we've seen a slight hesitation. You can see here points across the board. There's slight hesitation, one notably here at 1370.50 mark, but ultimately our next goal would be down the bottom here at roughly the 134500 mark, primarily because we've had very strong price support and resistance level in this area, and way below that then we're looking at ultimate down here at the 1300s or 12900 mark, because it's the long-term support area that we saw back in early 2011. So decision today, we need to see a decision candle. If you're going to see further upside movement, ideally you have to see it trading above the 13700 mark. Intraday, look at the 4 hour for example, noticeably the 13700 is a resistance level, and you can see that the momentum of the trend is still to the downside. If anything, then you could see price really much going sideways until this point here. So it'll be interesting to see if we do get extension lower. Notice we have higher swings, but price has been breached just recently, or if you take the wicks, we are testing that swing as we see. So we're seeing a consolidation against the major downtrend. So we want to see a break of that consolidation. So ideally a break below the previous swing in this case. So anywhere below the 13600 mark would definitely give us that indication. At the moment on 4 hour we have our blue candle, so it's giving us a consolidation up. It's giving a hesitation signal. If we move to our small time frame, CTC is well extended. On the bigger time frames, daily, 4 hour and hourly, however, if you go into the small time frames, we are seeing inconsistent. CTC is starting to show us, well, they're all showing us a bearish indication downside, which is going to be well aware of a support here in these parts. So swings, we are seeing lower swings going into this. 13700, as I mentioned, is strong resistance, a consolidation resistance, as I mentioned earlier. So we can just keep that in mind. Got to be breaking above the 13700 to be classified as still bullish intraday upside. However, our institutional moving averages moving to the downside. We're trading below the moving averages, and we should see the CTC in our favor. So we should be looking for further shorting opportunities. We know 13500 is our intraday support area, so psychologically we'll be looking at that as our next target point if we see a break. Next up is sterling against US dollar. Let's have a look at the daily for example. Still continuous trend to the downside. Look at that. Daily. Lower swing, lower swing, lower swing. Very bearish. Seen a lot of momentum on this pair to the downside since the late parts of August going through to September. We've seen price break straight through the 1600s. So psychological, that barrier has just been breached, and we haven't looked back since. And price is still steadily moving lower. So next port of call for this pair would be ideally the 15350 mark at least on this pair on a daily time frame, because that's our next strong support and resistance level. We have got some consolidations between where we are trading now and the 15350 mark, but we have slight consolidation now as we head into the 15700. But overall, we're looking at potentially 15,350 or 15,550 as our next potential target long term for this pair. Steady downside movements. We have some news out this morning. Merv King is speaking. We should be aware of that. We have Claremont count change, average earnings index, 3 months of the year. But the big one is Merv King speaking. So it could be interesting to see what he has to say. So be aware of that, guys. Just make a note, 15,700 potential target area, intraday consolidation, primarily because we've had a slight consolidation prior. Notice how the 20-period moving average on this time frame has acted as a beautiful ceiling level, pushing price lower, swing low, swing low, swing lows. CTC well extended. You just bide your time, and if you had entered in certain places, look for breakouts, consolidations for opportunities to trade lower. Support, 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 breakout, consolidation, continuation. There's been a couple of them along the way. There again here, support, 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 breakout, and continuation lower. So we are still trading lower. 15,700 psychologically will be a potential support area, so be aware of that. 30 minutes, just have a look at it. There we go, 15,700. So there's still some momentum here. There's still at least 30 or 40 pips on that to the next level, so looking good at the moment. We have had a breakout this morning, breakout, pullback, continuation, so things looking good for further downside movement for this pair. Notice swing lows still dictating price action to the downside. So as a squeeze, breakout, continuation, that's what we're looking at for this pair till at least the 15,700 mark. Next up is the US dollar against Swiss franc. Let's have a look at the daily. Here again, we can see price action has moved up after since Swiss franc or the Swiss government pegged its currency. Seen price trading higher, bouncing higher, and now trading around the institutional moving average. We've had a shooting star, indecision, doji, and now we're seeing price momentum still testing that. So it seems as though price is really pretty much happy trading above the 8,800 mark. We could have another reattempt of the highs. So intraday, we look at an hourly chart, for example, and put in our support and resistance areas. We know that roughly around at the 8,800 or 8,750 mark we have a support area. So as long as price is trading above that, then we could definitely see another reattempt of the highs. If you look at price action now, swing lows, price is trading that area now at the moment. Further, ideally we want to see price trading well above the 8,900 mark to give us a clear indication that we are now looking for higher highs, because by then we'll be trading well above the institutional moving average, and we'll get that nice bullish engulfing candle if that was the case to see further highs. So tentative at the moment, our CTC is looking long. So if you look at the intraday 30 minutes, for example, we are blue on the CTC. We know that the 8,800, 87.5 mark, there we go, is a price support and resistance level for this pair. So make a note of that. It's got to be trading well above that area to see further continuations higher. Notice we have had, since the test here at the 80 we've had a pullback, swing low, but we've seen a breach of that recently. There we go. Consolidation of the area. We've got to see a push higher now. CTC, you look at swing highs now going into this pair. The price can stay above these swings around this round here at 88.33. On the 30-minute chart, we should see further extensions to at least the 89.91 part. So this is where intraday there's a possibility for further upside movement, but daily we're still ranging in that consolidation range. So you can either say to yourself, cool, I'll see if I can try and get some profits to the upside intraday trading this level here. Just be aware there's a very price support and resistance level here at 88.70 is a very strong resistance level. So we need to see a breach above that, because there's not much inside yet to trade with on this time frame. So you've got to break higher than that to see at least the 89.20 mark, at least your first target. But ideally, daily we want to see a bullish engulfing pattern to see long-term outlooks for further bullishness on this. Otherwise, we could see a fake out, price trading higher, then pulling back during the US session close, only for price to revert against us, and on a daily give us another exhaustion candle like we had here 2 days ago at this level, and then we're going to see price really fall over. Last pair of the day is the US dollar against Japanese yen. Let's have a look. Since Price failed to break above the 77.70 mark. We saw resistance, bearish engulfing, and we've seen price revert to the downside. So price is heading back towards the 76.50 mark, and CTC is half, but you'll notice that swings have begun progressively swing high through, but we're testing that and we're trading slightly lower going into the Asian market European session. Well, Asian market closed, European session open this morning, but it looks like ultimately we might see the 76.50 mark being reattempted quite soon, as the US dollar has failed to materialize or to really break higher on the yen. So we know if we go to an hourly chart, for example, CTC is well extended to the downside. Just put in your support and resistance levels. So we know 76.50 is a bottom for this pair on a daily chart. So if you just go ahead and put that in, psychologically you can see price has been moving to the downside, and that's been dictated because we have lower swings and price action. It's trading below the institutional moving average as well as the two shorter term moving averages, giving you an idea that we are looking at a bearish setup here. So as it stands now, we should be looking for continuation lower. If you wanted to, you could see there's a support here at 76.80. Support, break below that bearishness would see 76.50 definitely on the cards for this pair. We don't want to be buying into or selling this when we could be possibly looking at a support area here. We know that there's consolidation on the daily to the upside. Swing high. There's nothing to say we could have a bit of a pullback tail-wise and the price action closing higher to depict that we should see some further US momentum to the upside against the yen carried over into the latter part of this week. So you've got to be very cautious. 4 hours trading below all the moving averages institutionally as well, so we know that things are still looking bearish. More downside candle. There's more wicks of the downside, depicting that there's further downside movement on this pair to be seen. So all we need to do now is bide our time, look for a nice bearish engulfing to break below 76.80 to confirm that we should still be seeing further downside movement, and then we should be taking our precautionary measures for that particular trade. So 76.80, want to see a definite break below that on our smaller time frames, i.e. our 15-30 minute chart in particular. And then we look at stop placements above the 76.95 price swing area, and then we look at 76.50 as our ultimate goal for this pair intraday. Otherwise, what we could do if it doesn't break 76.80 is look for a potential upside move. A break above 76.95 would definitely give us an idea that we should be looking at 77.20 or higher. You could look at to a break of that. We have a slight pause here. Ultimately, this one here, 77.35. 77.55 and ultimately 77.80 as our potential upside targets. That's it for today, guys. Hope you have a fantastic trading day. Please ensure if you are using the CTC strategy to follow the rules of it. Make sure you back it up with sound money management, and most importantly, keep it simple. Very, very important. Don't get carried away. Look at price action. Where's it trading in conjunction with trend line support and resistance, and then work it out. Far better to look for breakouts. Be patient to look for breakouts, consolidation ranges. You're going to see a lot more momentum drive behind you, and that's what we're going to do as a trader, is find or trade momentum drive. So be aware of that. Other than that, happy days, trade well, and trade serenely.